So I'm really excited to introduce Amye Trefethen from NAMI. Amye is a certified peer support specialist and a Missouri Lay educational advocate, and she is the director of programs at NAMI, Missouri. And Amye lives in Jefferson City with her 18-year-old and the family cat. So welcome again, Amye. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, everybody. So I just wanted to talk to you guys today a little bit about NAMI, Missouri and the things that we do. So NAMI is a national organization, and each state has a NAMI state office like NAMI, Missouri. And then under the umbrella of those state offices are local affiliates. NAMI is an organization that provides education, advocacy, support, and awareness. All of our programs are offered at no cost to the participants, and any training that we do is also offered at no cost. So we have some funding through SAMHSA, and we also have some funding through the Missouri Department of Mental Health. So one of the things that we do is to offer support groups. And NAMI, that acronym, if I didn't say it, is the National Alliance of Mental Illness. So we have support groups for people who live with mental health conditions that are called NAMI Connection Recovery Support Groups. And we also offer NAMI family support groups for family members of any relationship to a person of any age who is living with a mental health condition. We do also offer a specialized parent caregiver support group that is unique for parents or other caregivers of individuals who are 18 and under who live with a mental health condition, because it can kind of look different. The family's role is a lot different once a person turns 18, if there's not a guardianship in place, than it is when you're dealing with a younger individual, and how you're able to partner with providers, and also just, the decision-making capacity that you have in that person's life. So we try to offer more supports in that support group for a younger group. We have several presentation programs that really do a whole lot in a community to raise awareness about mental health conditions, to reduce stigma, because we all know that treatment is effective. Yet in any given year, only 40% of people who live with a mental health condition are going in for treatment. And one of those factors is stigma. So NAMI in Our Own Voice teaches people who live with mental health conditions to tell their story of hope and recovery. And what that does is it just kind of, it's really easy to think of people who live with mental health conditions as them. But when you see someone talking to you and they're telling you their story, it's me, it's not them. Family and Friends is a 90-minute seminar that is for family members of a loved one of any age or relationship who's living with a mental health condition. And that seminar offers them immediate resources, communication skills, and it comes with an ebook that you can download. And that seminar also includes some self-care tips for caregivers, which I think is also very important. We also have a program that is unique to NAMI, Missouri, and Yvette actually took this training, and it's our Holding Hope presenters, and it teaches family members or other caregivers to tell their family member story. And it was really important for us to develop that because we felt that it was a great way to connect with other parents in the community and other caregivers in the community, especially to talk about what parent caregiver needs might be. NAMI, as an organization, also offers several education classes. These education classes are provided at no cost to the participants. And for any of our programs, the people who are facilitating our support groups or the people who are leading our education classes all wear the hat of the lived experience of the people in their class. So for example, peer-to-peer is a class for adults over the age of 18 who live with mental health conditions, and the teachers for that program are also adults over 18 who live with mental health conditions. They take a specialized training to be able to lead this class. It's an 8-session class. And it really just kind of highlights different person-centered planning tools, awareness tools, guided meditations like the one we did at the beginning of this meeting, and how to partner with your provider. People also learn to tell their story in that class. The family education classes are family to family, NAMI basics, and NAMI homefront. NAMI family to family is for anyone of any relationship to an adult. So someone who is 18 or older who is living with a mental health condition. NAMI Basics is a 6-session class for parents and other caregivers of children or youth who are 18 or under, who are experiencing the symptoms of a mental health condition. And it doesn't have to be a diagnosed mental health condition, because for kids, their brain is developing so much that you might, I know when I was getting services for my 18-year-old, when they were younger, I kind of had sort of an alphabet soup of different diagnoses. It doesn't require a diagnosis for any of our programs. You just need to know that there is a behavioral challenge of some sort. NAMI Basics does count for foster parent training, and it is 16 contact hours. And this class is provided to you free of charge. We typically offer classes virtually, and we're hoping to have some in person in select locations. They are 6-session courses, and they meet for 6 consecutive weeks. We have binders that we can ship to you for the class, and then you complete a form to be able to get your Missouri foster parent training. And again, the teachers for this class are parents or other caregivers of kids who are living with mental health conditions, and they take a training from us to be able to lead this class. NAMI Homefront is a class for families, partners and friends of military service members and veterans who are experiencing mental health challenges. That is also offered virtually throughout the state. This last year, we had some funding to be able to provide family wellness kits, and they were offered to families that were taking our NAMI Homefront courses who had children, and also the families involved in our NAMI Basics courses. So they included 3 different kits, which I'll talk to you about. So the first picture is a family wellness toolbox jar. And that is something that you can create when using your family WRAP. So WRAP is an acronym that stands for Wellness Recovery Action Plan. It is not a NAMI program, but it's just a program that I really enjoy. I first learned about it in my training to become a certified peer support specialist. And when I got the family WRAP, I was very excited about it because I grew up in a family that had a lot of untreated mental health conditions, a lot of traumatic experiences, and a lot of substance use. So for me, the family WRAP book helped me to learn how to parent in a way that was effective, because I didn't feel as a parent that I could draw on the parenting that was modeled for me. And I really liked the idea of the family wellness toolbox, and I used to have a jar like that in my home. My 18-year-old is on the autism spectrum and also has a lot of anxiety and depression. And a lot of the things that I experienced, in seeking treatment for them was, I know that they felt that everything was directed at them. So for me as a parent, this was a great way that I could model coping skills with my child in a way that was meaningful for both of us. So we sat down together, and your wellness toolbox is just sort of everything you've ever wanted to try, things that you enjoy doing, things that give you joy. And so what I would do, I would come home from work and I would say, you know what, I had a really tough day. Why don't we go to the wellness jar, and I need to pull out something and do something for myself. And if we pulled out the first thing, and let's say it's wintertime and it's swim in the pool, and we didn't have access or money to go to the pool, we'd pull out something else. And this could be a variety of things. I used to put things, in there that sometimes had a cost or things that didn't. And one of our favorite things was like making, those forts out of sheets where you just put sheet forts up and watch a movie and have some popcorn. One of the other things that we did, my 18-year-old called it fancy dinner night, and we would just set the table super pretty. They used to like to make a centerpiece, and we'd sit down and play some music and cook dinner together and eat that together. And it was just a great way to kind of model coping skills, and a great reminder for myself too, because I also live with a mental health condition. And for me, when I am not doing well, I forget what I know. So I forget to use the tools that I have, and having a visual reminder of my coping skills or a toolbox was really helpful to me. So the family wellness jar was one of the things that we sent out. The middle picture is a coping kit. And the last picture, so both of those are coping kits. The middle one is for children who are developmentally under the age of 11. And the last box is for youth who are developmentally, over like 12 and up. So they contain a youth wrap book. And then there's all the materials to make a mindfulness jar or a calming bottle. I've heard it called different things, but the idea behind it is that you make it with your kiddo. You can put food coloring, glitter, beads, all kinds of things. And when that kiddo is upset, they can shake it up and the glitter is all unsettled in the jar. And then as the glitter kind of falls down, they can calm by watching that. And it's a great way to kind of, show in a tangible way what mindfulness or what calming kind of activities can be. My kiddo actually created those key rings of coping kits in a youth internship that they had at the NAMI Missouri office. And since they are on the autism spectrum, it was important to them that they have pictures and words so that kids who thought in pictures would be able to have a picture. So the coping key ring can be added to, but it's just ideas of things that you can do if you're having a rough day. And then the kit also included a variety of like stickers, fidgets and sensory items. So we were really excited to be able to send these out to the families who were in our classes that took classes in the fall and in the spring from us. And I think we're going to be doing that again next year because it was incredibly successful. And we felt that it was important to also send these out to our home front families. Because it can be challenging for a kiddo if their parent is deployed or if their parent is experiencing any kind of mental health related challenges. These are all of the trainings that we offer to people in the community who take our programs and then want to either facilitate or lead these programs in their own community. And again, we have funding that pays for the training. So they are trained to run these programs in their community and giving all the materials that they need. We also provide provider education. We do have a workshop that is on June 7th that is geared towards youth, providers of services to youth. And we like to give them a lot of family member perspective. So the teaching team who leads that seminar are all parents of youth who live with mental health conditions. And then we have a variety of speakers, and they talk about how to include the family in treatment. We have several outreach and advocacy programs. So we do teach people how to advocate, not only for themselves, but like if you wanted to serve on a local board or committee, and you felt intimidated by that because you've never learned about Robert's Rules of Order or those other things. So we do like how to serve on boards and committees. And then our advocacy training is how to tell your story to policymakers. Lately, there's been a lot of mental health legislation, like especially around suicide prevention in schools. And we don't tell you, what to support, but we teach you how to tell your story in a short and effective manner so that if you would like to advocate with policymakers, you know how to do so and you feel confident in doing that. So we've done a lot of those trainings as a series of lunch and learns. that are the second Wednesday each month, although we're going to be changing that so that it's during the active legislative session. And then we have an event called Partner in Policy that happens in April, where people get to go schedule a physical appointment with their policymaker and tell them their story. So it's a very empowering to be able to know how to do that. A new program to NAMI Missouri that we're very proud of is NAMI FaithNet. For many people, their recovery from mental health or substance use or both usually involves some component of faith, spirituality, or their meaning and purpose. And NAMI FaithNet is how to tell your story to a faith community and to kind of reduce stigma in faith communities, and also to kind of build a patchwork and a network of support so that faith communities and clergy members are a direct bridge to treatment. Because a lot of times people will go to their clergy member first. I'm hoping that that program will grow, because I think it would be really nice to have some of our Ending the Silence presentations, which is a youth presentation in youth groups, especially, so that there's a variety of places where there are adults who are mentoring youth that are kind of aware of mental health conditions and aware of how to help someone get into treatment. These are all of our local affiliates across the state of Missouri. And we also have some volunteers in places where there are not an affiliate, and they do lead some of our programs and courses. So that's just a list of that. And then this is our contact information. So we do have a parent resource helpline and just general resources and helpline supports at our 1-800 number or at the 573 number. Both of them ring into all of the office phones. You can email us at any time at info@namimissouri.org, and that is our website. So I'm going to play this video. It's specific to caregivers and self-care, so I thought it would be really nice.
I think caregiving is one of the hardest things, because as a caregiver, we're giving of ourselves. We're watching somebody that...
Amy, if you could just turn it up just a tiny bit on my end. I can't hear it on my end very well. Thank you.
Care about them so deeply.
Perfect.
And through NAMI support groups, caregivers get support. Caregivers are encouraged to participate in wellness activities and to keep themselves well. And I think sometimes people need that permission, and NAMI gives them that permission.
Caregiving is so important. As a psychologist, I consider myself a caregiver. As a family member who has a family member that experiences depression and anxiety, this is a time that we need to honor what we've done, because we know that the work of a caregiver can cause some stress, can cause some anxiety. Even though we want to be there for everyone, it's really important to take a step back, take a couple of deep breaths, and take care of you. Because once you take care of you, you can do anything.
I encourage everybody that's a caregiver to take some time to take care of yourself, whatever that is. Find your joy, whether it's nature, whether it's, reading a book. That's super important. I also encourage you, just enjoy regular family time with your loved one. Put it aside and just be a family. I encourage people to do that also. Don't lose sight of that. And do what you need to do to take care of your own mental health, whether it's to seek out your own therapist, a NAMI support group, a NAMI education class. That's really important.
So 3 things I do for self-care. Get my feet done. Buy me wigs. I got enough wigs, open up my own wig store. I love wigs, different colors, all kinds, short. And I take 20 minutes to myself a day. Sometimes I can't get a whole 20 minutes because I'll be at meetings, so I have to break it down to 5 minutes or 2 minutes, but I make sure every day I get at least 20 minutes to myself for my own sanity.
He says, I know you need help yourself. There's a support group that I want you to try. Go and look it up, nami.org. Surely enough, I found a support group, and I found a family. I found a place that was safe, where I could speak, where I wasn't judged. And I will never forget that night we talked about self-care. And they mentioned how you put on your oxygen mask first before you put it on your child. And I had not been doing that. I was just focused on her challenges. We were in and out of hospitals. I was focused on work, on my other daughter, on my relationship with my husband, church, volunteering, etc. And really not taking care of myself, not sleeping, worrying about what if. And then I started running. One of the things that we promised that night is, what is everybody, raise your hand to, what are you gonna do for yourself before the next support group? So I'm gonna go out and run. And here I am, 3 marathons in since that time. And it's been a relief for me, but also I think an example for my daughter, that we need to take time for ourselves and to check in with ourselves.
My self-care is walking. I walk every morning. My husband and I walk. I take care of my grandchildren a lot, and on any day that I'm just even feeling sad, they're, thank God, close enough to me, so I pick one up and go. They are my total joy. And my other one is being a part of a support group. And I leave that support group every week inspired by watching the way people are getting through all of this.
We found, my wife and I, that friends, family, and even our faith community did not fully appreciate the challenges that we were facing as a family. And so being with others who understood, being with others who you could talk to about what you might be going through, understanding what they were going through, and being supportive was extremely powerful for us. It wasn't so much the sharing, it was the understanding, it was the encouragement, it was the practical tips, and sometimes it was just being there for one another. Sometimes just being there without words can be very, very powerful for those who sometimes feel like they're facing this all alone.
Now, I'm a caregiver for one of my beautiful parents diagnosed with schizophrenia. For self-care, I get together with my girls every Wednesday and we play games, like just, regular card games or karaoke or whatever it is, like whatever we choose to do on that Wednesday, we get together and we just have a good time. My daughter is spending time with her gives me opportunity just to, just be a kid again. And then one more thing, I'm spiritual, so I listen to gospel music and just music that's inspiring and empowering.
As a caregiver, and also as a person that lives with a mental health condition. And 3 things that I do for self-care is that I take time for myself, only by myself. No kids, no dogs, nobody involved. And I listen to personal development every day. And I try to stay active every day, even if it is a 15-minute walk.
Sleep to me is like the forgotten, core principle of health. And I just know that when I prioritize my sleep, I have more to give. The second thing that I would say is, this is very authentic for me, I love solitude, which is not necessarily something that a caregiver gets a lot of or feels like they can ask for. But as a mom of 2 little kids and a caregiver and a wife, taking time by myself to go do things is the most important thing I found that makes me feel whole. So even 3 weeks ago, I took a trip by myself for 2 days and I rode all the rides and I walked and I listened to music and I came home feeling just so incredibly reset, which was exactly what I need. I love plants. I might kill a few, but mostly they're doing okay. And I think I have 47 plants right now at home, and I just keep growing them. And in my office, I talk to them, and it makes me feel like I'm in a jungle. But it brings me really, really, it just brings me a lot of happiness when I walk in and you see all these things that are thriving because you've cared about them. And we get to do the same thing for people. But wellness and self-care, it's finding out what makes you tick. And sometimes you have to try a few things, and families might say, I don't have the energy or the time. But it could be 5 minutes of just breathing with an app on your phone, just to feel grounded, just to feel good.
I love that video. So thank you for letting me share it. And I don't know if any of you have any questions for me.
Hey, Amy, it's Yvette. Could you kind of go through again the maybe how to join a support group with NAMI, or something that may be beneficial to our kinship caregivers as far as support groups go?
All right, so this is the NAMI Missouri website. And you can either use the menu that's up here, or you can click on support groups here. And we're still working on getting our parent caregiver support group. We had some people who were facilitating that. Like the past couple of years have just been really challenging for everyone. And they had some increase in, unwell behaviors with their kids and just needed to take a break. So we're working on building up our facilitators so that they have more self-care built in. But this has all of the different support groups. So it tells you which each one is and the categories. And then if you click learn more, you can see our listings. So we have a combination of in-person support groups and online support groups. And these hyperlinks just kind of push you down the page. So you can see all of the different in-person support groups. So let's say you lived in Greater Kansas City and you wanted to go to this, it tells you who to contact. And then for our online groups, most of them, you just register for them and it sends you the Zoom link automatically. And it gives you the time and how often they meet. For our classes, if you go back to our homepage, again, you can use the menu here to go to support and education, or you can go to education. Basics is the first one on the list, so it talks to you about that. And this is the class that does count for Missouri foster parent training. And again, that is 16 hours. Typically, we start those classes in the fall. Like I like to have them start just a little bit after school, and I try to have them end before Halloween, because once you hit Halloween, it's just sort of a slide to Christmas, and there's so many events and festivals and concerts and all of that kind of stuff that I think it's a really challenging time for parents. And then again, in the spring, we try to start in January and then have those wrap up before spring break. We typically don't offer classes in the summer because that's just, if you're going to take a family vacation, it's really the only time you can do so. So if you click on learn more, there won't be, there's a video about what NAMI Basics is. And our courses that are listed on here are courses that are past, but you can see how they are listed. And the registration right now is closed because we don't have them up for our fall classes. But when they are open, they'll be listed on our website. I try to have one each month so that, you can make it fit your schedule. And to register, you would just click on here and complete a form to register. And then the teachers contact you with the Zoom link. We also have a NAMI Basics on demand, but I don't think that one counts for the Missouri Foster Parent Training Credit. And you can see the forms and information on that here. You just complete the form and give it to them, and then your certificate is given to you at the end of the class. If you absolutely don't have time to attend the 6-week class, which can be possible, there's also an on-demand version. And you just complete the form and they send you the information for that. with NAMI National. Basics on Demand does not have teachers, but it gives you the information, but it doesn't give you Missouri specific information. So it's there if you need it. But I think the better option is the class with the teachers, because you can ask them the questions. And then there's a lot of Missouri specific information about, like, Mo Health Net, Mo DMH, how you find services for your kiddo. And then also we have a lot of community partners. ParentLink is one of our community partners. Impact is one of our community partners. And the basics class includes a presentation from Impact on their services about special education, if that's something that you need. So our website has a lot of information and resources on it, and that's how you navigate it. You can also go to the calendar to see what is being offered and sign up from it there. So, like, for example, this is a family support group meeting that we have that's specifically for families whose loved one has a diagnosis of borderline personality disorder, just because there's so much stigma surrounding that diagnosis. So if you wanted to click on that, you click on it and it tells you how to join it or to contact the facilitator. Right now, we do not have our courses because it is the summer, but you can see, like, our NAMI Smarts for Advocacy, that would give you what you needed. So another way to find it that might be easier for most people is just using the calendar on our website.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from any of our participants or professionals joining?
So then in Missouri, NAMI Missouri doesn't coordinate those trainings, but we provide the speakers for those trainings, if that makes sense. So the CIT trainings are coordinated by, I think there's an entire organization that does CIT. So they contact us for the speakers. So we have our In Our Own Voice speakers and our Holding Hope family speakers who go and tell their story to law enforcement. And that's a big component of that training, because, like I said, it's easy to think, of different things about someone who's othered. But when someone's standing in front of you and you're like, this is me, this is my face, my name is Amy, and I live with bipolar disorder, that changes that conversation. So our family speakers go regularly to those, and they also talk to social work students and counseling students and psychiatric nursing students. So we have a variety of speakers who do that. And we also pay those speakers a stipend. So all of our support group facilitators, our teachers, and our speakers get stipends because we're asking quite a lot of them, to take that training, to invest that time. So yeah. And for any of you, if you need to request an officer, ask for a CIT trained officer. Not with NAMI Missouri, because our peer support, well, NAMI is firmly in peer support land, if that makes sense to you. So we do not do anything that would be clinical. And especially with trauma, that's something that needs to be dealt with a clinician, because that's beyond anyone in NAMI's pay grade, if that makes sense to you. So we can provide you with support, but our groups are peer support groups. Not that everyone is a certified peer support specialist, but they're peer in that, if I'm a family member, I take a training to facilitate groups for other family members, and I have that lived experience, and I'm not directive in any way. It's sort of like we give you a buffet of resources and wellness tools, but it's not the same as a therapy group. So I would say that our services are trauma informed in the sense that they take a peer approach, but to have to me, a trauma group for early childhood trauma would probably be more of a therapy role, if that makes sense to you.
Are there any other questions from anyone?
Before I forget, Yvette, I sent you an email And if anybody wants it, there's this great printout called Meet My Little Monster that was created by NAMI Washington. And we gave it out to a lot of folks and families during Children's Mental Health Week. And it's just a great way. I like it because it's not colorful. So printing wise, it's cheaper to print and give out. And it's a great way to talk to your child about their emotions. We send it to quite a bit of schools. We've had more and more requests from schools, especially for kids of a younger and younger age, where teachers are reaching out to us and saying, hey, kids are really going through a lot right now. So that is available to you if you need it, and I highly recommend it. I think it's called My Little Monster. I have it that I downloaded.
Amy, actually, I can send it to our warm line and our Kin for Kid line staff. And if somebody would like it, they can definitely reach out to our Kin for Kid line and our warm line staff, and we can get it to them that way.
So it's just a little coloring book that you print. It has some resources on it, the acknowledgements, and it's just about this little monster and what he likes. He wants to share his toy, you know, and through it, you start talking about what is your favorite food, draw your favorite fruit, your favorite food. It has some little activities. And then this is what little monster likes when he feels happy. And then what are some things that make you feel happy? And you can draw things that make you feel happy. You can draw things about yourself that make you unique and wonderful in the mirror. These are things that make little monster feel yucky. What makes you feel yucky? So I really liked it. And it does have like a feelings wheel. You know, things made him nervous and scared. What makes you feel nervous and scared? So it's available for you as well.
I will just put my little plug in for NAMI. I am also a volunteer, and I had a great time being on the planning committee for Children's Mental Health Week. It was a lot of fun, and we had a lot of great activities. So that's my plug for you guys, Amy. NAMI Missouri is great, and like she said, ParentLink is it partners with them, a community partner. So thanks again, Amy, so much. Appreciate it.